So hello and welcome. I want to welcome everybody to Honoring the Sacred. We're here in the Sacred Space and Talking Circles room of World Unity Week in June of 2020. And Honoring the Sacred is hosted by the Sacred Earth Council. And our presenters today are Robin Youngblood and Ejna Fleury. And it's all yours, Ejna.
Okay. Welcome everybody from around the whole world. And just to let you know, I just came from another one of our circles that's going on right now, and it's about the whole justice system, punishment versus restoration. So I'm very, very, very moved about this. And so I want to let you know that I have here water. This water came from Shasta, but it was also part of the water blessing which took place yesterday for around the world. And since today we are going to be honoring the sacred, and we're going to be entering the year of honoring water, I wanted to have this present to hear our offerings also. Eventually, I'm going to pour this into the spring-fed pond right where I live here in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains. So I wanted to presence this water here for all of us, along with the particular stone that I have. If any of you were part of that ceremony yesterday, and if you have your water, you're certainly welcome to have it present. That would be beautiful. So with this, I'm going to ask if Robin could please honor us with an opening blessing prayer, please.
First, I'd like to sing a water song. And some of you already know this song, so if you know it, please join me. Usually I use a drum, but I think today, for practical purposes, I'll use a shaker. So this song has traveled the world at least 4 times. It was originally given only to women, and then we realized that there are wonderful men out there who are water protectors, so we began to give it to them. When it came around the 4th time, it came to the Ojibwe people, who said, we recognize this song, but we sing it a little differently. So I've added their verse as well, and I'll sing it 4 times. Nibi wabo endayan, akwi miskwi nibi wabo, heya 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 hey, heya 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 ho. Nibi wabo endayan, miskwi nibi wabo aki. Heya, 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 hey, heya, 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 ho. Nibi wabo endayan, akwi miskwi nibi wabo. Heya, 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 hey, heya, 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 ho. Nibi wabo endayan, miskwi nibi wabo aki. Heya, 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 hey, heya, 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 ho. The song means, I am a messenger, I carry the waters. Yeah. We all do. And water is one of the things that connects us all, because we're all 70% water. It connects us to the earth. Water is mother's blood. And as somebody put on the chat, it is probably the most intelligent being on the planet. Yeah. So grandmothers and grandfathers, Wankantanka, Tankashla, Kulan Shutin, Allah, all the names that we call the divine mystery. We welcome your presence here today. We ask you and our ancestors who are present with us as well to guide us, to show us how to honor the sacred. We give thanks to Mother Earth who sustains us in every moment. She feeds us through the plants, the animals. She helps us by grounding us so that we can do the work that we came here to do. So, Creator, we give you all thanks for being present with us today. We give the water thanks as well. And we move now into the place of the sacred, Aho.
Thank you, Robin. I also want to let everyone know here that the deer, a baby fawn, was born this morning. And it's presenting itself here. There are many people here amongst the Talking Circle facilitators who have had deer visit within the last few days. So deer spirit is here with us. And also bear, night before last, bear came right outside of my door onto by my deck here. I was still awake. It was about 11:30 at night. And so I know that it's the earth and the animal nations, the plant nations, our ancestors, the star nations are all here with us. So I'm going to introduce myself and then have Robin introduce herself. And then I'm going to go into kind of an overview of things. And then Rob and I will share our stories, and then we'll be able to break out into talking circles. So, Ejna Fleury, I was born Betty Jean Pratt. Ejna's nowhere near that. I took my middle name Jean. And because Spirit has been in my life so powerfully, sort of turned Jean inside out, which became Ejna. And so that, I love, that name is, this is my name now because of Great Spirit. I'm enrolled at the Crow Creek Sioux Reservation in South Dakota. And my mother comes from the Cheyenne River Reservation, also in South Dakota. But I also know I have French ancestry from the fur trappers that came over early. And I probably have some other European bloodlines, maybe even back to Neanderthal. I haven't done my my blood genetics yet, but I want to do that. I think it would be really fascinating. So with that, I let Robin introduce herself. You're muted, Robin.
Oh.
Okay, she's okay.
Okay, I was just putting something in the chat, so. Yeah, you know, the deer, I shared a story this morning that my son and I were camping near Paradise where the big fire happened about a year beforehand, and we had the penultimate experience. We got to watch a mama deer birthing her fawn, bubble and all. And it was awe-inspiring, yeah. In my particular tribe, deer has some very special meanings. It is the heart of compassion, of mercy and forgiveness, of standing steady no matter what's happening. Yeah, I think we all need that right now. So maybe that's why deer showed up. And of course, bear takes us into the dream time and helps us to heal through our introspection. So I think that the animals also are really helping us, as well as our Star Nation ancestors. We all have stardust. Some of us know who those ancestors were, and some of us don't, and that's okay too. I am Okanagan, Cherokee, Sampoil, Nez Perce, and a little Anishinaabe on the Indian side. I call myself my own 5 civilized tribes. And I'm Dutch and French. So I also have had the grand experience of visiting Holland. My grandfather's last name is Van Valkenburg. And when I told my Dutch friends that, they said, "Oh, we know where you belong," and took me straight down to their only mountain, which is called Valkenburg, and has the best vlaai, which is a cherry pie, you've ever had in your whole life. There's a castle there from 1041 AD. I stood in the Wolf Tower there, and Wolf is my totem. So it was a very special experience. Oh, you just came from there. Fabulous. Okay, so that's it for me, and I think it's time to start sharing stories. Ejna?
Yeah, so Robin and I are each going to share. Well, before we, right before, I want to set a context for this, because honoring the sacred, and we named this whole convergence room Sacred Space and Talking Circles, because those of us of Sacred Earth Council, we accept and we experience the sacredness of all of creation. And we do know that there's a whole range of belief and experience with everybody across the planet. Some people have no belief whatsoever. Some people are skeptical. It just so happens that we have direct experience, and many of us here that are participating with this particular talking circle have experience with the mystery, with divine, with the deep. So we're going to be focused more on honoring this relationship, but I wanted to honor the relationship by honoring more of creation itself, because we're actually in our consciousness and in our awareness and in our dreams and our visions and in our travels, there are many humans that some of us are actually traveling into the cosmos, and some of us are working actually with consciousnesses from the stars. There are many people across the planet who participate with the dream realms and the healing that is taking place. And whereas people might call the animal king, it might call it the kingdom, we could call it the spirit nations of the animals, because there's a consciousness and there's a recognition of this consciousness of humanity. And we have this range, we have this capacity to be working in all these areas and all these realms. And so many of us have just not, well, we've been deprived of it. So I want to honor the sacred, because we humans, part of our gift is that we have the capacity and we have the great honor to participate in all the realms, all these realms of creation. So I hope, yeah, trying to expand the realization for those who have no experience or belief, or those who have skepticism, that science itself is recognizing this more and more. And physicists and scientists are really coming into a recognition of this. So that's enough about that greater context, because we really want to go into our stories. So I'm going to ring this bell to start this next section. So I woke up this morning and my heart has been so full and so tender. And so I'm just feeling so honored to be part of what is happening with World Unity Week. It's not just this, all our talking circles, but there's a recognition that there's this energy of love and compassion, and a recognition of our that we're family, and it's swelling and it's swelling. So John Raymer, who set up this whole Trello board, and I know that it's been a massive a challenge in some ways, but it's actually also connecting more and more of us, so that the communications that we make so we can even do this. You know, we have people from all around the planet right now. You know, we're all, we're holding hands, we're holding hearts right now, even as I speak. So, and that even though, you know, Mercury is in retrograde and all these different planets are in retrograde, and there's this challenge kind of side of things, that it's being brought up because this love is coming up at the same time. I'm getting goosebumps all over my body because we're participating in a very special time, and we're aware of it. And that what we're needing is to pull in more of this numinous, of the sacred, of the divine, of consciousness, of awareness, of our capacities. We need to recognize our gifts. And so part of my gift is just now emerging. And Robin and I share this gift. We're connectors. Part of why we carry these different bloodlines is that because we are the family of humanity. So part of our mission is going to be in creating these different connections, these communication systems, these talking circles. There are talking circles that are all kinds of them that are taking place already. And COVID stopped everything. You know, our relative, this is part of one of our relatives is this COVID. And it's bringing some families closer together. It's bringing this communication system where we're relying more on the positive side of some of these technologies. And it's really forcing some quiet. I have many friends who are saying, whoa, I was way too busy. And all of a sudden I'm rediscovering my relationship with my own self. And family members, my daughter in Georgia, every day now, she says, every day we're having something where the whole family does something all together every day. So, but at the same time, in honoring the sacred is the blocks. There are blocks to some people who are not feeling, or their heart is numbed. And that part of our mission is to help with however we can, to help unblock and heal these hearts and the broken hearts. And some people don't even know they have a broken heart because they've been numbed. So the hearts, there are very, very many ways that we're being inspired to bring these different medicines. And one of the great ways is through song. So I do know that we're going to be having song ceremonies, not just for the water, but song ceremonies for healing very, very many things. And so the combination of ceremony brings in the magic and the surprise, inspiration, healing, and it surprises people who, even people who have never even been in ceremony. Because of that power, things happen. So then the circles where we can integrate or we can share with one another, because our hearts are, they're not only are they opening, but we're getting on fire. The fire of our heart is igniting, and the fire, what is fire? Transmutation. So we're in the midst of this heart melting, heart opening, hearts coming on fire, and hearts coming into transmutation, and the joining. We're being joined all these different ways. And we of Indigenous have had quite a close relationship with Earth through the plants, the healings, the animal nations locally where we live, and then with the elements, air, earth, fire, and water. We're very, very close. So our ceremonies, and these ceremonies are going to be important all over the planet. So we need to deepen into the courage that we need to come forth and serve in this way. And we also need to be open that we are entering into true co-creation with Creator. These inspirations are coming, so we're going to be willing to listen to these inspirations and the synchronicities, you know, the magic of how somebody calls you right when you really need to see them, or you meet somebody new that you, oh my gosh, where have you been all my life? You know, so all of these things are happening right now. So we're entering a time of co-creation, and it's learning, you know, we're learning this. It's not like we have all the answers, and that we've been in this time of personal isolation, you know, feeling so alone and shunned or degraded, shamed. I mean, all these different things. But actually what we're doing is coming together as the family. These talking circles are bringing us together already as the family. We are the family, you know, we're all family. So I think, I don't know how much time I've taken, but thank you. And I want to turn this over for my beloved sister, Robin of the songs, the Songbird.
Lim Lim. Wado, thank you. You've reminded me of so much today. What's going on here? My screen just went crazy. Hold on just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. It is an immense time, full of opportunities and full of challenges. Ejna reminded me of many things that I've learned over the years that become little sentences or paragraphs that really change things in our lives. One of them is, the time of the lone wolf is over. Many of us did that for most of our lives, yeah? And we struggled, and it was painful. And now we have the opportunity to remember, because none of this is new. It's all about remembering. To remember that we are the family of humanity. Yeah, we're all different, just like every sister and brother is different. And we all have commonalities. And part of what this time is about is finding the common denominators. There's always a need with the common denominator. We just had a talk in the class that I was doing just before this, my class, about language and how we need to change the ways that we language things. I was taught that the universe only knows how to say yes. So it behooves us to be very careful about what we tell the universe. There are people out there, and I hear them every day. I see their posts on Facebook saying, oh, this is awful and terrible, and we're never going to change, and the world's going to die, and blah, 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 blah. Well, you tell the universe that, guess what you're going to get? Yeah? And we're doing something different. We come together to say, wow, a baby deer showed up this morning. This is all about compassion and love and forgiveness. How do we express that in the world? When we come up next to somebody who's saying, oh, it's awful and terrible, and, you know, we're never going to make it through this, or it's a hoax. We're not wearing masks. We're not doing anything to help each other. How do we respond to that? Does it trigger us? Do we get ticked off and jump in their face? And believe me, I've had that temptation. Or do we go to ourselves and say, okay, what's the need behind this? Why is this person stuck in this? How can we help? Yeah? What is it that we can say to them and the universe that will help open their heart just a little bit, just a little crack, so that they can see, even if it's just for a moment or two, a whole different perspective, because that will keep cracking them open. Once the process starts, you can't unstart it. Yeah? Another thing that Ejna reminded me of, which is very dear to my heart. You've probably seen this meme on Facebook, but it's really true. If you go to a shaman and you, or a medicine person, and you tell them, you know, I'm really depressed. I just feel like I don't belong anywhere. Life sucks. The first thing they're going to ask you is, when was the last time you sang? When was the last time you danced? When was the last time you went out to nature and just were there with her, listening to the birds sing and the wind in the trees and the brook babbling? Yeah? Because we forget those things in modern culture. We get so busy, so distracted, so inundated and overwhelmed, we just don't do those things. Until something like Holy Corona shows up. Susan, I love your sense of humor. Holy Corona. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on here. When the virus first came, the very first message I got was, oh, this is coming through the animals. They're mother's messengers, her couriers. They're telling us, stop. You cannot continue doing what you've been doing because you are killing me. I moved down here to Arizona to escape huge forest fires up in Washington. And now they're happening down here. And there's a message in that for me. You don't get to escape. You can distract all you want, but you don't get to escape this. It's real and it's here. Yeah? On the other side of the fires, the pollution went away in 2 weeks when we stopped. I could see clear skies for the first time since I was a child. Yeah. The animals I started hearing and seeing on Facebook and all kinds of other places. The turtles came back to a beach that they couldn't even come onto for 20 years because of the humans in the trash. The dolphins started coming into Venice. Yeah? Mother Earth sent us this virus so we would stop and look and listen. And yes, it has terrible consequences. And I have all the compassion in the world for that. And we are in a time of purification that all the prophecies foretold. Every indigenous prophecy has foretold this time for centuries. You know, I responded to somebody yesterday who was saying something about the virus being a hoax and blah, 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 a whole bunch of stuff. And my response to him is, well, you know, the Hopi predicted all this, but they didn't cause it. When they predicted the bomb that went off, the nuclear bomb that went off in Hiroshima in World War II, they knew it was going to happen, but they didn't make it happen. Okay? There are many things that are going on in the world right now that have been known by indigenous people forever. I always chuckle when science confirms something that we've known forever. Yeah? And I'm always really happy when it does because it's a confirmation for us. And in today's very skeptical society, we need those confirmations. Yeah? Yes, Ejna, stardust. We are all made of stardust. You know what stardust is? It's soil combined with air, which has been on fire and contains water. It's come to Earth, and we are all made of stardust. When we think of it that way, it's easy to honor the elements because we are them. There's no separation. Anything that we think is separate is an illusion or a delusion. I've been doing a lot of work with the Black Lives Matter and so forth. And it's not just Black Lives Matter. Of course, we all know that. All lives matter. And in this moment in time, those in America who are Black are calling for the attention that they need and have deserved forever, and a correction to the systems that have caused deep, deep wounding. We have Brown Lives Matter, our Native American people. It's been going on for us for 500 years. We're a little different because we've always been the invisible people. Yeah? I mean, when I first went to Europe and to South Africa, when I went to South Africa to do a teaching with a bunch of school kids, all of whom were Black, I told them I was wearing my regalia, and I told them I'm a Native American. They said, "What's that?" And so I described to them, I'm a tribal person like you guys are from America. We were the first people who lived in America. And they said, "Oh, you mean a red Indian?" And I said, "What's that?" They said, "Oh, we see them on TV, but we didn't think you guys still existed." Yeah. They said the same thing to me in Holland when I first arrived. "Oh, you have a tribe? You actually have a culture? We've lost all ours." Yeah. I really took that in because it didn't make sense to me. So I went to the rivers, I went to the trees, I went to their one mountain, I went to the ocean, and I asked. And all the ancestors said, "We haven't got anywhere. We're right here. Just tell them to go bring us offerings and give us a little respect." And we'll give them back everything they think they've lost. Yeah. It's true for all of us. I actually had a tribe that I could go back to learn from. And inside me, in my DNA, were already incorporated the gifts and the teachings that my elders were able to bring out of me. They're there in all of us. That's part of being Stardust. This is a time of awakening all the gifts and the wisdom that comes from our ancestors. Sure, we've all had trauma, but we've also all had ancestors who were the result of the love of thousands, maybe the love of millions. What that means is that all those ancestors that love us in that way, they're there to help us. They're there. They've already given us all these gifts in our DNA. They're just waiting for us to wake up. And we are. And part of waking up is recognizing that everything that has been created in the universe has the breath of spirit in it, or it could not exist. So everything is sacred. You know, the Buddhists have a saying about make each step a prayer. The Iroquois Haudenosaunee people, their word for warrior means the one who carries the blood and the bones of the ancestors and Mother Earth on their back. Think about that. That's a huge, profound thing to think about. Do you carry the blood and the bones of the ancestors and Mother Earth on your back? Aho, that's it for me today. Thank you, beloved sister. Your mic's off.
This has been a beautiful time together. And Robin, would you like to say a couple of words? And then I've asked Joan if she could sing us out. Yeah. So, Robin, would you like to say a couple of words here?
Yeah, I want to learn all Joan's songs. I always have, actually, so this is great. Yes, I'm very grateful for all of us being here. I feel like I have all kinds of new relatives that I hadn't met before. Aho.
This is true. Yes. And talking circles, you know, this is the beginning. This is a beginning. So thank you. Joan, would you be willing to sing us out? I would love it. Thank you.
I unmuted it twice. It didn't pay any attention to me. So we'll see what the birds have to say, since they have a tendency they were already showing up. The song that comes up to sing you out with, actually, it has a purpose normally, but in an interesting way, I think it can be applied here, that it's a song that can be done here for this purpose. It really, what it is really for is singing the tree into the ground. And that is applied to certain ceremonies and was a gift from an elder no longer living. He actually made it for me, which was a tremendous honor. I'm always kind of floored when people say things like, oh, well, we made this for you. You're like, you're looking around for who they're talking to. But that's, I gifted it to the communities that are involved in that ceremony. And it literally sings the tree into the ground, so as it is planted, as it is rooted. from ceremonies where a living tree is used that is not already in the ground. And the reason it seems right today is because that's kind of the relatives, there are two things. One is of the relatives we have here present, represented in all the things that people have brought. The trees are the ones that might have needed a little extra boost. And also because we've planted seeds here. We've planted, that's what I see, we've planted trees, not just seeds, but saplings here, with all of the ways in which people have seemed to come together in honestly and clearly from their hearts in a sacred way, knowing that it only starts when you know that it's all sacred. So this song is for that, from a man named Pat Kennedy, who's been on the other side camp a long time. Oh Lord, hey, no, hey, hey, oh.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ring the bell. Thank you. Thank you all. We are complete.
Much love and thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Till next time.
Aloha.
Yes.
Thank you.